Browns fans, we have a huge quarterback battle to talk about today. ESPN just dropped a very interesting breakdown of the Cleveland Browns quarterback competition, and after hearing what they had to say, there is one thing that stands out. This Saturday against the Buffalo Bills could be a huge opportunity for Shedeur Sanders. But Browns fans, let's be honest. This isn't just about one preseason game. This is about the future of the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson got the start in the preseason opener against the Bears. Shedeur Sanders played 3 drives, completed 6 of 11 passes for 79 yards and threw an interception. And now Sanders is getting his chance to start a preseason game against Buffalo. ESPN is asking whether he can do enough to make his case for the starting job. But they're also asking a much bigger question. What does Deshaun Watson actually mean for the Browns' future? And that's where this conversation gets really interesting, because Cleveland has invested in young quarterbacks. The Browns have Shedeur Sanders, they have Dillon Gabriel, they have Taylor Green, and they have valuable draft capital coming in the future. At the same time, Deshaun Watson is the veteran who has experience, and the Browns are trying to win now. So there are arguments on both sides. And Browns fans, that's exactly what we're going to react to today. We're going to break down what ESPN is saying about Shedeur Sanders. We're going to talk about Deshaun Watson. We're going to discuss the Browns quarterback competition. And most importantly, I'm going to give you my prediction for who I think should be leading this team into Week 1. And yes, Browns fans, I'm going to favor Cleveland. Because I believe this team has a real opportunity to surprise people this season. But before we get into it, I need a huge favor from you. Smash that like button. And Browns fans, we're pushing for 4,000 subscribers here at Browns Daily Update. If you're a real Browns fan and you want to follow this team throughout the preseason, into Week 1, and throughout the entire season, subscribe to the channel right now. We're getting closer to 4,000, and I want to hit that milestone with the entire Browns community. So, like the video, subscribe to Browns Daily Update, and let's get into this ESPN reaction.
Competition, which continues this Saturday. Shedeur Sanders getting his chance to start a preseason game against the Bills. Deshaun Watson started the preseason opener against the Bears. Sanders played 3 drives, went 6 of 11 passing for 79 yards and an interception. So there's plenty on the line this Saturday, but if you ask Shedeur, he isn't feeling the pressure.
I'll say every day of my life is important. Every day is important. I wouldn't say it's a day that's not important, so that's just another day going out there doing what I got to do, honestly. I don't really feel anxiety or any pressure, even going into things like that anymore, because it's like that's how I approach everything. So, it's just another day of going to work, That's all it is for me.
So I go back to last Saturday, covering that game, Bears and Browns, and seeing what Deshaun Watson did at him, and hearing how his head coach Todd Monken talked about him after the game. 22 months he'd been off the field due to injuries and suspension. He was awesome, phenomenal. Was really glad to see him back out there. So I don't know if that's him tipping his hand about where he's going here, but is there anything Shedeur can do to make his case with his performance against the Bills this weekend that could help him earn that QB1?
I'm just curious, before I even answer, you watched the game live. You were impressed with Deshaun.
I don't know if impressed would be the right word. To me, it was you're back out on a football field, trying to get yourself into football shape. Didn't really see him try to take many deep shots, but first time in 22 months being back out there, could have gone worse.
I think the feeling around there has been, there's been upbeat talk about Deshaun Watson. He's the veteran guy. And they opened the season with 2 road games in Tampa in Jacksonville against the Jaguars, and then in Tampa against the Buccaneers. And it would be easy to start with the veteran. Might be wise on the road to start with the veteran. And then if it doesn't work out, then you could always turn back to the younger quarterback. Again, Shedeur has his chance here to make a statement on Saturday. This is his time. This is his start. He gets a half, just like Deshaun Watson got a half to start the game last week. Let's see what he does with it, and then we can continue the conversation.
Shefty, is there any scenario, let's look at our magic ball real quick, where Deshaun Watson is in Cleveland next year?
I mean, it's hard to imagine that, but who would have ever imagined that he'd be in this position where would you have ever thought that there was a chance he was going to start another game for that team?
Yeah. Very unlikely, though, fair to say, right?
Unlikely.
Yeah, no matter what. Like, he could go back out there and be good, right? And if he goes and leads them to a playoff run or something, then it's a different conversation. But most likely, even if he goes out there and plays, he's going to be good. So there's no reason that he should be on the field. because it does nothing for the Cleveland Browns and their future. It does nothing for Deshaun Watson to go out there and just be good or be pretty good. Or, hey, you know what? Hasn't played in a while. He looks pretty good for not playing in a while. Don't care. It does nothing for them. You have Shedeur Sanders, you have Dylan Gabriel, and Taylor Green, who you drafted all in the last 2 years. And you know nothing, essentially, about them, or you don't know if one of them can be your future. And you have 2 first-round draft picks next year in a loaded quarterback class. What does Deshaun Watson do for you? So to the Shedeur Sanders point, can he earn the starting job? What can he do to get back in that mix if it is Deshaun Watson leading? It shouldn't matter. He should be the starter. Because you have to figure out what you have in him before you can decide what we're going to do at that position in the future, because you've invested a lot of draft capital and you have a lot of draft capital to use moving forward.
Just to piggyback off of Jordan's point, I would just say, even if he made a big playoff run, you still have no justification to re-sign him. But I think there's a key.
If he made a big playoff run?
If they go to the AFC Championship game, there's no justification to re-sign Deshaun Watson.
Why?
Because you could never assume he's going to do it twice in a row. You cannot assume that Deshaun Watson is going to be
crazy.
He's had like one good year in his career when he was healthy.
Well. If he gets the Cleveland Browns to the AFC Championship, this team that's looking for a quarterback to win.
I'm done.
Okay, you are
right there. Yeah, as an executive, I'm done in that spot. Yeah. But in general, I can't bet on him once. I've already done that. Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the team, Jimmy D. Haslam, but Jimmy Haslam's words were basically it was like a failed experiment or whatever he said. Then he went to the guy's wedding, which so when you're saying, did you ever think it could happen again? Yeah, the moment he showed up to the wedding, I'm like, well, okay, maybe it's not a failed experiment. They're going to have him potentially start. The key to the NFL, if you want to break down the NFL into one singular thing, what is the best possible thing that could happen to you if you're an NFL team? It is finding a quarterback between rounds 2 and 7 that plays like a quarterback that is good enough to be drafted in the first round. That is your singular goal. If you don't have a quarterback, can I find someone on the cheapest of possible deals that I could build the other 50 some odd guys around him that are so good? Because I'm paying him no money. If they find a guy in Shedeur Sanders with 5th round money and they get off of Deshaun Watson next year, here's the other part. They may be in good shape. The other thing I would say, look at the roster not paying attention to the name of the team, the history of the team, or the quarterback. They're actually ripe for a big-time quarterback. They have a lot of guys on that roster that you would say, you know, a quarterback would be pretty good around him.
You go get a Jeremiah Smith, one of those first-round picks, if you figure it out with Shedeur this year, next year.
We have Jeremiah Smith between you and I now on 2 teams next year. This is amazing.
Play for all of them.
I mean, am I wrong to say that Shedeur gives him a better long-term shot than Watson?
No, you're not.
No, you're not wrong on that, but would it be a mistake if they go with Deshaun Watson, Myron, to start week 1?
I don't think it's a mistake. Why are we still having this conversation about Shedeur?
Because he's in the mix to be the quarterback in Cleveland.
But meaning, how much more time does he need to emerge as the guy? Like, I feel like he's gotten a lot, but I think he's had opportunities. You have to beat Dylan Gabriel. You've got to beat Deshaun Watson, who's had, obviously a lot of tread on the tires, is not at his best self. I think Shedeur Sanders has been given a great opportunity to say he's the guy. And I think if that were clear, that's exactly what the Browns would say. This is the guy. You want to know why? Because I want my second-year quarterback to have the confidence going into the season to know he's not fighting for the job, to know that it's his job and that he can build chemistry with the guys around him and they can start to look forward to the season with that in mind. That's not the case here. So clearly to me, Shedeur Sanders hasn't shown something. I don't know what that is, but he hasn't done enough to make it definitive. I also think this is a team that's really playing for 2027 and whatever happens in that NFL draft. Shedeur Sanders isn't the quarterback of the future. Deshaun Watson isn't the quarterback of the future. And I think that's why it may not matter as much how this all plays out, because 2027, I think that's where they're going to be looking for their franchise quarterback.
Part of me wonders, Adam, I don't know how to rectify this, but there's different agendas in every team. Front office that brought Deshaun Watson in here, maybe trying to get one last ditch effort at return on investment, and a brand new coaching staff that's trying to figure it out, the right path to go. Is there a conflict here?
I actually think the agendas align here.
Okay.
This organization has been so bad for so long that the agenda is to win, because they've done none of that during their time in Cleveland. So the new head coach, he wants to win. The owners, they've been there a long time. They want to win. The GM, he wants to win. Front office, they want to win. Like, everybody's tired of losing. The agendas here happen to align perfectly, but they need some players, most notably the quarterback, to develop to pull it off. And they can't win without the quarterback doing it. Nobody is going to have their agenda set or met unless that quarterback plays well, whoever that quarterback is.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to win with the quarterback situation as it currently stands. Maybe 2027 is when they do find that answer in Cleveland. Straight ahead here on First Take with
Browns fans, after hearing everything ESPN had to say, I want to know what you think. Do you believe Shedeur Sanders can do enough against the Bills to make this quarterback competition even more interesting? Or do you think Deshaun Watson should get the Week 1 start because of his experience and the Browns' desire to win right now? Personally, I'm going with the Browns here. I think Cleveland should give Shedeur Sanders every opportunity to prove that he can be the answer. But I'm also not counting out Deshaun Watson. If Watson looks sharp, stays healthy, and gives this offense the best chance to win early in the season, I understand why the Browns would lean toward the veteran. But here's my prediction. I think Shedeur Sanders is going to make a strong statement against Buffalo. I think he will play with confidence, make some big-time throws, and give the Browns something very important to think about. And if he can put together that kind of performance, I believe Cleveland could start leaning toward Shedeur Sanders as the quarterback with the best long-term opportunity to lead this team. And Browns fans, that's the part I'm excited about. Because if the Browns can find their quarterback, this roster could be ready to make a serious jump. The defense is there, the talent is there, the roster has players who can help a quarterback succeed. And if Cleveland can finally find the right answer at quarterback, this team could be much more dangerous than ESPN is giving them credit for. So now I want to hear from you. Who should start Week 1 for the Browns, Shedeur Sanders or Deshaun Watson? And what do you expect to see from Shedeur against Buffalo? Drop your prediction in the comments. I want to hear what Browns Nation thinks. And if you enjoyed this ESPN reaction, smash that like button. Subscribe to Browns Daily Update if you haven't already. And Browns fans, we're getting closer and closer to 4,000 subscribers. I want you to be part of that milestone. Share this video with another Browns fan, send it to your friends, and help us get Browns Daily Update in front of as many Cleveland fans as possible. The quarterback battle is heating up. The regular season is getting closer. And the Browns are going to have some very important decisions to make, but I'm telling you right now, Browns fans, I believe this team has a chance to surprise people. The future is being built in Cleveland, and if Shedeur Sanders can prove he's the guy, the Browns could have something very special on their hands. This is Browns Daily Update, and I'll see you in the next one. Go Browns, and let's get to 4,000 subscribers.